Maybe I shouldn't make this video. You know, who cares? Screw it, whatever. I read about Lehi's dream, AKA Lehi's nightmare, which I like to call it. It kept reminding me of something, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So today, we are going to liken Lehi's nightmare unto the Legend of Zelda. It starts out with a man dressed in white. Now, I took a Book of Mormon class when I attended BYU Hawaii, and I learned everyone assumes this man is like Jesus or something, but it's not. It doesn't say anywhere that this man is God or Jesus, nothing. Now, this man in white leads Lehi, and he's like, and Lehi's like, okay. So he follows him, and then he realizes, what the frick? Where am I? He is in what Nephi says is a dark and dreary waste. You can't even see your hand in front of your face. It's like walking through a forest that's been burnt down. No signs of life at all. Nothing's alive. It reminded me of the Lost Woods in Zelda. Specifically the Lost Woods in Breath of the Wild. It is so frustrating going through the Lost Woods. I think I had to ask for help because you literally start walking and it's all misty. I'll show a picture down here. You can't see anything. All the trees are creepy. And if you get too far off the invisible path that you can't see, it starts over and you're lost and you die. So Lehi's walking in this for hours and hours and hours. He doesn't receive any help until he prays and asks. Ask and ye shall receive, people. He gets help. Then what happens? He sees a large and spacious field. Another large and spacious field I have seen, Hyrule Field. You can finally see the way you're going. It's nice and bright. It's green. There's color. There's signs of life. It's all good again. There's also a different game. It might be Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time, I'm not sure, where it's a large and spacious field and there's like a tree in the middle of it, which I was like, that looks just like Lehi's dream. That's crazy. So then Lehi sees this big old tree, and I'm sure he's starving after walking for hours in the dark, and he sees fruit on this tree. I've heard so many people talk about this fruit and they just gloss over this phrase. They say, oh, well, it was desirable. No, I looked into this word because I was like, what do you mean desirable? That is so generic. The Hebrew's kind of hard to translate because the words aren't very straightforward. They're kind of like, I don't know where these plates came from. I need to look that up. How did they even get them? In Hebrew, roughly, that means it's worth prioritizing, it's worth choosing, and it's worth like orienting your life around it. Essentially, he's like, this is S-tier food. It's life-changing, changed my life. And what's the first thing you want to do when you're at a restaurant and you get that guac and chips? The chips are crunchy and the guac is chunky and it's got that salt and lime and you taste it and it's so delicious. What's the first thing you do? You go, you gotta try this. So that's what Lehi did. So you got this tree and it's got the magic fruits. We're gonna make them pink because I feel like in my dream, they would be hot pink. This tree is called the Tree of Life. Reminds me of Skyward Sword. They literally have a life tree that produces fruit. It's literally shiny like in Lehi's dream, and it's glowy and it's so bright and it looks so delicious. In Lehi's dream, there's two different kinds of water and it's super confusing. So I was like, what do you mean this water's filthy and people are drowning in it, but then it's also like amazing? What are you talking about? There's the source, the water source, which is really, really good. So let's just say it's like a pond thing up here. And then let's just say it's like a waterfall and then like a river. Now this water is good water. This symbolizes Christ. Very good water, the source. Now this here, you can go into some hot springs in the game, and if you go and swim in this water, you get your hearts back. And you could be almost dead. And if you go swimming in that water, it saves your life. That's an amazing parallel to Christ. This water is nasty and filthy. It has been contaminated. It's got microplastics, it's got MSG and all the nasties in it. It's been contaminated and people drown in this. If you've ever played Zelda, you will know that in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, can you tell those are my two favorite games? Skyward Sword is a close second. Whenever you go swimming, you go, oh, I could cross that river easy. I've got enough stamina. And you've got a little stamina wheel and you start swimming and your stamina wheel's green and it looks great. You don't realize how strong these currents are, especially in freaking Zora's domain. You're fighting for your life in some of these. It looks calm until you're in it and then you're like, oh no. I've got nowhere to go. my stamina wheel's down to red, and you just have to accept your fate and you drown. It's a lot like Lehi's dream. And it is so close to the tree. People go into it. They don't think it's a big deal. It's not like they slip and fall. It's gradual. They don't realize it. And then they're in it, just like in Zelda. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. Oh my gosh, I have nowhere to go. And then you drown. Right next to the water, so you can easily fall off. There's a rod of iron here. It wasn't this like clean paved road. I think there were snakes, probably scorpions. It was really rocky. You're tripping and falling and twisting your ankle. You got to cling onto that rod, or you're gonna. Reminded me of Angel's Landing. You're just gonna. You got to cling on to that rod of iron, or you are going to fall. This path with the rod of iron really made me think for a second, and I was like, you know what this is like in Legend of Zelda? When you're riding your horse, you can go onto the path and just click go, and the horse will gallop, but you can't mess with it. As soon as you start doing your own thing and it veers off the path, you're out in a field, there's bokoblins trying to get you, you're running from Lionels and guardians, and the horse will follow the path. Don't mess with it. It reminded me of the rod of iron. Now there is this mist of darkness that people get lost in Lehi's dream, and they let go of that rod of iron and they get lost in this midst of darkness. It's kind of like the Lost Woods, but it's a lot scarier. But it reminded me of something specifically from Tears of the Kingdom, gloom. Just like the mist of darkness, if you stay in it for too long, bad things happen. You start losing hearts. If you're in this gloom for too long, your hearts become permanently damaged, and eating food won't repair it. It has to be repaired specifically by standing in a light route or eating food with sunlight properties in it. You need to consume light. I think that's just so symbolic of the gospel. You have to consume recipes with like sunlight ingredients to repair these broken, damaged hearts. We have one last thing that reminded me of the Legend of Zelda. The great and spacious building also looks like a block of cheese, thanks to my artistry. There are so many people, male and female of all kinds, in here, just laughing at these people eating the fruit. Ha 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 ha! It's so funny. And it does affect some people. Some people eat this fruit and they become ashamed, and they're like, oh, God, you made it all the way there and you're embarrassed? Come on. That's so frustrating. But great and spacious building. Everyone's laughing and pointing and ha 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 ha. It's so funny. It reminded me of one character in particular. His name is Groose, and he is a jackrabbit. He is a buffoon. He thinks everything that Link does is so lame and it's so funny, and this guy just irritates me to no end. He is just like these people in the great and spacious building. He wears the weirdest looking clothes and he thinks he's so great. Now, something that I thought was really sweet, Nephi ends this chapter basically saying that Lehi is talking to Laman and Lemuel. He did exhort them, which basically means he's like trying to plead with them like a tender parent. Lehi's not even judging them. He's like, please, like, let's just do this. Like, let's just make this happen. Like, you just want the best for your kid and you're not angry. You're just like, I really want the best for you. I want you to be happy. And this is what I think you need to do. Like, please, let's do this. I don't think they listen, but I think it's cool that Lehi just never gives up on them. And I think that's what our jobs as parents are, is just never give up on your kids. I think a lot of parents, especially in the church, think, well, I need to fully convert my kid and they need to be the most as spiritual as possible, and then I've made it. And if they fall away from the church, I've failed. And no, your job is to love them, and that's it. That's the most important thing. And I think a lot of parents tend to forget that, which I totally get. It's a lot of pressure being a parent. I thought that was really sweet. And I love how it ended the chapter with that tone. It's all about love, y'all. That is Lehi's nightmare. I call it a nightmare because a lot of this was not great. There was one good element, but it started with that freaky woods. Water. A lot of these are bad things in here. I call it Lehi's nightmare. You can get mad at me, but if you've played Legend of Zelda, I hope that this kind of was entertaining. There's so many parallels to that game and this stream. I just thought it was so cool. Anyways, I just thought it was really cool and I wanted to share.